Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of War Machines Season 3.1. So, at the start of the season, we started out with more than 120 robots in War Machines Season 3.1 from the Robot Wars RA2 mod, and we are now down to 16 robots. We are now here with what you all have been waiting for, the grand final episode of this season. So yeah, last time basically, previously in the semifinals, we determined 10 wildcard spots, while the lost bracket determined gave awhile 2.1 a spot in the grand final. And throughout the last 4 episodes, we determined those last 5 spots, and we're going to see how they fare up against the first 11 robots that I named off, basically. So yeah, basically by the end of this grand final right here, we will be crowning a champion. We'll announce right here that this is going to be a 2-episode special, like what BattleBots does, 2-hour special some seasons. So yeah, you get the idea. This is going to be a combined episode, and by the end of this one, we will have crowned the War Machines Season 3.1 champion. A lot is on the line here. Let's go ahead and check out the bracket and review it from last time. So yeah, the plan is not really to go over the bracket that big compared to last time, because we went over it in detail at the end of the last episode. So yeah, the first quadrant there, we'll see a battle between 2 different types of spinners, and the top-seeded Carbide, who is the favorite to win the competition right now, and Electric Boogaloo and their devastating vertical spinner. Right down below them are the 8 and the 9 seed Neutron and Hades, 2 more robots that could definitely go on a serious run for the title. Then over in the second quadrant, we got the 2 seeded, which was given to the defending champion of War Machines right now in this mod, Eruption, who will be taking on the front hinged flipper of Mute in what should be an entertaining showdown. Then right down below, we got a battle between 2 different types of robots. We got the powerful flipper of Apollo, who has definitely been making a name for themselves in this first season of War Machines, who will be going up against Salad Tosser, who had a serious comeback in their heat and semi-final in order to get to this position, but definitely earned it and could definitely go on a serious run. Then down below that, the 3-seeded Last Rites and that devastating horizontal spinner will take on Bullfrog with that powerful and durable flipper. And then right down below, a battle of the Iron-Aws. Iron-Aw 7 and Iron-Aw 2.1. They will fight it out in this episode. Then over in the fourth quadrant, last but not least, we get the 4-seeded Sewer Snake, one of the favorites to win this competition, who will be taking on Toxic 2, another powerful flipper. We have so many powerful flippers here in this bracket right here. And then right down below there, we got a battle between the 5-seeded Swarm and PP3D, 2 powerful horizontal spinners. So, the plan for this grand final, these 16 robots will fight it out bracket style. These will be single elimination, there will be no wild cards, unlike the last couple brackets. So, basically, we will continue to fight it out until we get to that last robot standing. Whoever remains standing by the end of it is going to come out with the War Machines Season 3.1 championship. There's a lot on the line, can't wait for it. Let's go ahead and get started with some fights here, where we're going to start it off down at the 4th quadrant. We're going to lead it off with Sewer Snake and Toxic 2 to start the episode off. So on one side we got Sewer Snake, 6-wheel drive right there, a very low to the ground, and a very powerful lifter right there. Then on the other side, we got Toxic 2, with one of the most powerful flippers in this competition, but we got several really powerful flippers in this competition, but you get the idea. So, this one is going to be a battle for ground game, and the battle is see who can get underneath the other first, I feel. Because both these robots, one of their big strengths is once they get underneath you, they just stay on you and continue to knock you off balance until they win the fight, basically. So it's going to come down to that. Before we get to this match, though, let's go ahead and talk about how these 2 robots got here. We're going to do this for all 16 robots since the best of the best remain. Yeah, so on one side, we got Sewer Snake, who plowed through their heat with that lifter and their semifinal little appearance with that lifter right there, and just using that speed, maneuverability, some great driving, and all that stuff to their advantage. Several of their opponents, once they got knocked off balance, Sewer Snake just stayed on them for the entirety of the rest of the match right there, and just continued to control the match and win the fight that way. Their opponent will be Toxic 2, who had to run through the last chance brackets in order to get here after a loss to Swarm in the final of their semifinal. So, Toxic 2 has been relentless with that powerful flipper, sending so many opponents out of the arena, winning their fights that way, and surely this fight is going to be no different here. I'd say that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and get to our first matchup of the episode here, where we're gonna see these two fight it out for a spot in the top 8. Time for this match to begin here. Both robots making the mill. Sewer Snake winning the ground game very early on here, and now knocking Toxic 2 off balance, but flipping themselves in the process. And Toxic 2 landing a couple flips, putting Sewer Snake in the corner right there. This is exactly what Toxic 2 wants right there. Basically, Sewer Snake made a driving error, but right there, Sewer Snake managing to get underneath Toxic 2 again, and knocking them off balance with a couple lifts, getting a couple flips in right there. Toxic 2 trying to get some breathing room, but now taking another vicious lift from Sewer Snake right there. And another one right there, but Toxic 2 escapes and gets the breathing room they need. Now they're underneath Sewer Snake, landing a huge flip right there that almost sends Sewer Snake out of the arena right there. And now they have Sewer Snake in the corner, almost flinging it out of the arena again right there. Toxic 2 definitely likes to go for out of the arenas, and they tried right there, but Sewer Snake managing to stay in the arena. Toxic 2 staying on Sewer Snake. Brilliant driving from Toxic 2, just continuing to stay on and capitalize on the fact that Sewer Snake needing to rebound right there. Great stuff from Toxic 2 right here, who's stacking up points big time. And Sewer Snake needs to get some breathing room. They just lost a wheel right there. The power of that flipper just knocked off a wheel. 2 more just came off though. Sewer Snake has just lost half their wheels in just a couple of flips right there. Not good for the 6-wheel drive robot, who probably could be facing drive issues after this whole thing. Another powerful flip from Toxic 2, and another powerful flip that knocks off another set of wheels right there. But yeah, two full sets of wheels remaining right here on Sewer Snake. This is not good. This is some serious damage. They're really slowing down. And what do you expect? Because that's from somebody who's gotten so much airtime from Toxic 2. Sewer Snake, one of the favorites to win this competition, is seriously on the ropes after they just lost another set of wheels right there. One set of wheels left. The reason why I say set is because Sewer Snake does have Omni wheels. But still though, Sewer Snake really coming apart. Their mobility is just in turmoil basically right now. Very slowly moving around the arena. Now driving in circles, crab walking a little bit right now. While Toxic 2 just keeps flipping them time and time again. Off comes part of that last set right there. Can they get that last wheel? Not quite, but they got Sewer Snake out of the arena right there. Toxic 2 is going to take this one by knockout. What an opening round matchup to see in this episode. What a way to start the grand final. Two very powerful robots right there. It was back and forth at first. Toxic 2 getting a few flips. Sewer Snake getting a bunch of lifts in to control the match themselves. But then as soon as Toxic 2 knocked Sewer Snake off balance right there, they capitalized brilliantly. Whoever was driving Toxic 2, phenomenal job by that person. So, yeah, and then eventually they started plucking wheels off of Sewer Snake, basically, which really hurt their ability to push Toxic 2 around, their speed advantage and all that stuff. Because I would say they are the faster and more mobile robot between the two of them. But clearly, once they started losing wheels right there, the damage just stacked up too much on them, and Toxic 2 took advantage of that, and they will be moving on to the next round, where they have a rematch coming with one of the robots who beat Toxic 2 within this season so far. They'll go up against either Swarm or PP3D in the next round. But before we get to that one, we're going to go over to the second quadrant where we got Apollo and Salad Tosser, a battle between the 7 and the 10 seed. So one side we got Apollo, another powerful flipper. Another flipper's in its first season, so I forgot to mention that about Toxic too. This is its first season in War Machines, after having a lot of success in several other competitions. Yeah, so Apollo, definitely another powerful flipper you do not want to mess around with, and all that stuff before it possibly flings you out of the arena, basically. Their opponent is going to be Salad Tosser, which they go for damage, not out of the arenas typically. Salad Tosser has been ripping several opponents apart with that powerful drum spinner, and definitely is not one to underestimate here. Let's go ahead and talk about these two robots before we get to this matchup right there. So on one side here, we got Apollo with that powerful flipper who's the higher seed in this matchup right there. Quite a bit of durability and an even more powerful flipper right there. They've given some of their opponents some serious airtime with that thing, and almost every one of their opponents so far have ended up out of the arena by the end of this match right there. And I'm sure that's going to be their strategy when taking on Salad Tosser. So now the underdog, seeding-wise in this matchup, which is Salad Tosser. Salad Tosser had a rough start to this season, taking a brutal loss to Eric in their opening round matchup. But then they completely bounced back from that, winning their Redemption Rumble, and then winning every single one of their semifinal matchups, including their showdown in the final, which was a rematch with Electric Boogaloo in order to get here. Salad Tosser, definitely not one to underestimate, and they definitely proved that that loss to Eric was almost certainly a fluke. So yes, a lot is on the line in this matchup. Salad Tosser is surely going to be trying to damage Apollo's flipper as soon as possible, or get to whatever they can on Apollo, whether that's wheels, get through the armor, get to the underside, whatever it is. Salad Tosser wants to cause chaos and damage in order to kill off Apollo. Let's find out if they can do it, or if Apollo is going to control this match with the flipper and win the fight that way. Let's go ahead and get to this showdown. Time for this matchup to begin. Both robots meeting in the middle. Salad Tosser getting underneath early and getting a few shots to the underside of Apollo with that drum spinner right there. Apollo now trying to adjust, trying to get underneath Salad Tosser, but really struggling to do so, because now Salad Tosser is landing a few more hits at that drum spinner, Apollo being forced to self-right. That flipper is very limited on pneumatics before it starts to drastically reduce in power. A couple nice flips from Apollo right there. Once again, another nice flip, and now they have Salad Tosser right up against the rails. Nice flip right there, trying to get Salad Tosser out of the arena, but just doesn't quite have the height to do it. Many more nice flips from Apollo. We got smoke coming from Salad Tosser from one of those back, now both of those back wheels right there. Salad Tosser, their motors seem to be overheating right there, something to keep an eye on, but that drum spinner is still firing up, and it's still causing some chaos. Letting a few more jabs onto the front of Apollo right there. Nice flip from Apollo right there. Another one that nearly gets Salad Tosser out of the arena right there. Surprised he didn't go in for another flip right there, where they might have been able to accomplish that task. Nice flip from Apollo once again, putting Salad Tosser right in the corner once again here. So, and now Salad Tosser on the move with that drum spinner, but Apollo gets free and gets out of there. Nice flip. I saw sparks right there. I think control board could be a possibility for Salad Tosser right now. Nice flip from Apollo, continuing to put Salad Tosser in the corner right there. Apollo's been super effective with that flipper. Salad Tosser has gotten some chips and jabs like that right there, but they haven't really done any real damage so far. Alright, a couple more jabs, and now Apollo is in the corner right now. Salad Tosser going for it. Maybe gonna try to pluck a wheel, get through that underside or something, try to damage something important right now, but Apollo definitely has been taking those attacks well, but now they need to get underneath. They need to rebound and get underneath. Nice shot right there from Salad Tosser, flipping Apollo over once again. Right here, Salad Tosser getting some moments. I see a few tiny bits and pieces flying off of Apollo. Salad Tosser is doing a little bit of damage with that drum spinner right there, but not anything major so far. Less than a minute to go in this fight right now. I'd say Apollo is definitely on top right now. Nice flip right there. Another nice flip from Apollo once again. And here, pretty back and forth showdown between those two. 30 seconds left to go in this fight right now. Another nice flip, more sparks, showing more control board damage done to Salad Tosser. And another nice flip, a huge flip, biggest flip of the night, and it ends Salad Tosser's run right there. Dang, that was a pretty back and forth fight right there between those two robots. Apollo getting several big flips in. Salad Tosser getting a ton of jabs in with that drum spinner, even doing a small amount of damage to Apollo. But that damage did not affect Apollo one bit, as they treated it like that damage, all those tiny bits and pieces that Salad Tosser was taking off was all just cosmetic, basically. But yeah, Apollo managed to get lots of the flips they needed in right there, and Salad Tosser's control board just couldn't handle all the flips right there. And that ended up being the end of Salad Tosser, basically. But credit to Salad Tosser for how far they had come this season, especially after the rough start they had. Apollo will be moving on to the next round, where they will take on the winner of Eruption and Mute. But before we get to that fight will be coming later. Coming up next, we're gonna go right to the top. We have the top-seeded Carbide, who is going to take on the 16-seeded Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, so basically, on the one side, we got the favorite to win the competition, the 1-seeded Carbide, who has been absolutely devastating with that horizontal spinner. There's a reason why Carbide is one of the contenders for most destructive robot this season. Taking on Carbide will be Electric Boogaloo, and that devastating vertical spinner right there. We got a battle between two devastating weapons, one horizontal, one vertical. I suspect whoever wins this fight is going to, I suspect the winner of this fight is going to be whoever can take the other's hits well, because the hits are definitely coming in this one. And I'm sure the others going to be trying to avoid, I'm sure they're each going to be trying to avoid the other's weapons, because Electric Boogaloo has those exposed wheels right there, and Carbide, if you knock Carbide off balance, their top and underside are pretty vulnerable. So yeah, a lot's on the line. Let's go ahead and talk about these two robots right here. Yeah, and so on one side, we got the robot that was awarded the 1 seed, Carbide, who has been tearing apart several of their opponents, doing some vicious damage with that powerful horizontal spinner right there. They definitely had a few tough bouts on the road right there, but definitely destruction has been their middle name throughout this competition right there, and that's surely what they're going to be going for in this fight with Electric Boogaloo, just dismantling their opponent piece by piece and trying to cause as much chaos as possible. Then on the other side, we got Electric Boogaloo, who has also been devastating throughout this competition, but with that vertical spinner. They managed to dismantle their first few opponents with that vertical spinner before running into a bump in the road with Salad Tosser in the final showdown of their semifinal, basically. And so they had to run through the lost bracket, or not the lost bracket, the last chance brackets, where basically they started off strong but then took a loss to Bullfrog, resulting in them having to go through that rumble at the end of the previous episode, where they came out on top in that one to show that they definitely have what it takes to go on a serious run in the grand final. However, they have a tough matchup here with Carbide, but if they go weapon on weapon, it's typically known that a vertical spinner will win against a horizontal spinner. But I'm sure Electric Boogaloo still wants to avoid going that way, to avoid as much damage as possible, and yeah. So, I'd say let's go ahead and get on to this matchup. I'm really looking forward to this showdown. Let's get right to it. Time for this fight to begin here. Both robots being in the middle. Carbide landing an early hit. We see some weapon-on-weapon action. Carbide's off balance right now. A nice jab right there from Electric Boogaloo here. Carbide gets the breathing room they needed. And now we got some more weapon-on-weapon action right now. And Carbide's now in the corner right now and being popped up by Electric Boogaloo's vert. But look at that right there. There. That might be why Electric Boogaloo probably wouldn't want to go weapon-on-weapon right there, because they have just lost their vertical spinner, and they just lost their front armor as well right there. It looked like this was going in Electric Boogaloo's favor early on. Huge hit right there. But back to what I was saying, though, it looked like this was going in Electric Boogaloo's favor early on because they were knocking Carbide off balance, even got Carbide in a corner, but they just lost their entire vertical spinner. They will be weaponless for the rest of this match right there, and now Carbide's just getting the horizontal spinner up to speed and looking to start causing some damage. There goes a wheel right there. Electric Boogaloo has lost a wheel, lost one-sided drive right there, and Carbide trying to go for that other wheel right there. Great start from the top seed here, who is making a huge statement for themselves. Electric Boogaloo, they got in the habit of spinning on their side, and sure enough, they're doing that again right here. Won't provide the destructive power that their vertical spinner would, but I guess it works. So, and nice ballroom dancing, basically, from that robot. Definitely very elegant. But huge hits being landed from Carbide and that horizontal spinner. Halfway through this match right now, I think it's safe to say Carbide is on top. That other wheel has come off. However, their robot seems to still be unbalanced, which is providing Electric Boogaloo enough movement to prevent them from being counted out. But I saw sparks right there, but I still don't think Electric Boogaloo is going to last that much longer, though. We got a minute to go here. Can Electric Boogaloo survive another 60 seconds while Carbide is going in for more and more hits right there? Here, just continuing to land shot after shot. Carbide is just relentless here right now. Electric Boogaloo trying to spin on their side, but they need wheels in order to do that once again. So, yeah. Pit is open. Is Carbide going to try to put Electric Boogaloo down it? They might not need to, because Electric Boogaloo just took more control board damage, and that just finished the job right there, and that is going to do it for this fight after Carbide just sent one of those wheels flying. So, yeah. So, we got a battle between a devastating horizontal spinner and a devastating vertical spinner. The vertical spinner seems to win in most of those cases, but that was not the case here. Both robots probably wanted to refrain from going weapon on weapon with the other just to avoid taking damage, and I predicted this fight was going to come down to who could better sustain the opponent's attacks, who could recover the best from their opponent's attacks. Electric Boogaloo had Carbide on the ropes very early in this fight, but then they eventually lost their vertical spinner in that weapon on weapon action that we were seeing between those two, and that ended up costing it the match, basically. So, yeah, that'll unfortunately be it for Electric Boogaloo after a great season this year. Another great season, I should just say. And we'll see Carbide, who's been making a statement ever since their debut against Revolutionists this season. And they'll be moving on where they'll take on the winner of Neutron and Hades, which will be coming later. Yeah, so coming up next, we're going to go back down to the 4th quadrant. We're going to see the 5th-seeded Swarm and the 12th-seeded PP3D. Yeah, and so the higher-seeded Swarm right there. Another devastating horizontal spinner who's up for most destructive robot this year. So, Swarm has been making mincemeat of several of their opponents, and that was how they got this grand final spot, even after a little bit of a rough showdown in one of their matchups that almost caused a big upset. So yeah, and then their opponent will be PP3D, who has some experience with horizontal spinners, because they fought last rites at the end of their semifinal episode, which they unfortunately did not come out on top, but I'm sure they learned a lot from that matchup on how to take on horizontals. Swarm almost certainly saw that matchup though, and their strategy is probably going to be try to go for those wheels on PP3D, try to slice off those wheels and reduce their mobility. PP3D on the other hand, probably going to try to go for those sides. One of PP3D's big strengths is that it's an undercutter, and so it could possibly slice the wheels from underneath Swarm's big armor, which no one's been able to get through yet, so, and possibly use Swarm's instability to their advantage in this fight. So either way though, one of these robots has a rematch with Toxic 2 coming, and there's a lot on the line, but you probably got the idea of what these two robots are going to be going for. Let's go ahead and talk about these two robots. Yeah, so the higher seeded, the favorite to win this matchup, Swarm, with that powerful horizontal spinner right there. Swarm has been dismantling most of their opponents piece by piece in order to be able to win their fights and be able to move on to the next round right here. Swarm started off last season, their rookie season, with an early exit in the competition all the way to the top 16, which is an impressive rebound from that robot. So basically, a lot is definitely on the line for Swarm here. Definitely improved their case that last season was a fluke here, and they're going to be looking to use that destructive power to dismantle PP3D and advance to the next round. Then on the other side, we got PP3D with that powerful undercutter right there. PP3D has also been dismantling opponents piece by piece right there, but that path was halted by Last Rites in their semifinal episode. So they had to go through the last chance brackets, where they managed to win the most recent bracket in order to claim the highest seed between those last chance bracket robots. So they definitely have a tough matchup here with Swarm as their opponent, but the PP3D definitely not going to back down in this one. So I'd say let's go ahead and check out this matchup now and find out who's going to be joining Toxic 2 in the next round. Alright, time for this matchup to begin. Time to determine who's going to be getting that second date with Toxic 2. Some weapon-on-weapon action very early on, but watch those wheels for PP3D. More weapon-on-weapon action between those two robots. Another huge hit. These hits are just devastating right now. Now, a couple more glancing blows right there from these two horizontal spinners, and a huge hit knocks off a wheel on PP3D. PP3D is now halted half their drive once again here in that situation. They were able to survive the match against Last Rites. Can they survive this one too? More devastating weapon-on-weapon and exchanges. And off comes part of the weapon of, I think, PP3D right there. It's hard to tell because those two horizontal spinners look similar, but PP3D appears to be a little off balance, so probably them right there. Huge hit once again, another big piece comes off, but this time it's part of the Swarm, it looks like. And off comes that other wheel right there. Huge driving error by PP3D, and now they're out of wheels, and looks like they lost power or something like that. The horizontal spinner is off, and they are not moving, and they are being counted out here. And looks like this is going to be it for PP3D, because Swarm is moving on. Wow. Well done by Swarm right there. Swarm was pretty confident attacking PP3D from the front, clearly. Getting a bunch of those weapon-on-weapon actions, looking to make contact with those wheels, and sure enough, that is exactly what happened in this fight right there. Yeah, so right from the get-go of this match, we were seeing lots of weapon-on-weapon action between those two robots, which I think is probably not the way you want to go at it with a fight with Swarm if you're PP3D, but it works regardless. Swarm managed to get the shots they wanted, though, and definitely took some damage to that weapon, but surely they'll be ready for their next fight where they'll take on Toxic 2 in the next round, which they fought in their semifinal, which Swarm did come out on top in. But never underestimate Toxic 2, because that was a close showdown, which I will say, so. Yeah, Swarm continue to make statements for themselves and proving that loss to Foxic in War Machines Season 2, which caused their early exit, was a fluke, and I'd say let's go ahead and move on to the next fight then. So coming up next, we're going to go over to the second quadrant where we have the defending champion, Eruption, who's going to take on the 15-seeded Mute. We always love a good flipper battle, and we got a good one right here, I'd say. So on one side, we got Eruption, and a classic pneumatic-powered flipper right there, with a lot of power behind it. There's a reason why this robot is the defending champion, and why this robot got the 2 seed. Eruption has definitely been relentless. They have some great ground game, and a powerful flipper right there. But never underestimate Mute, who is their opponent for this one. Mute has been a pretty solid spinner killer, even though this is not a spinner right there that they're going up against right there. But regardless though, Mute has a bunch of great ground game of its own, including its flipper is actually a front hinged flipper, not the type of flipper we're used to seeing right there. Regardless though, Mute should definitely be able to give Eruption a big run for their money in this one, and let's go ahead and talk about both robots. So on one side, we have Eruption, the defending champion, right there, who managed to win in their way past Last Rites last season in order to win that championship. And ever since, they have had a huge target on their back. Basically, they've been laying flip after flip, giving opponents no chance in order to rebound on them, and tossing opponents out of the arena time and time again in order to earn that 2 seed as for how they went through their heat and semifinal. They're going to look to use that ground game and flipper power to their advantage in this fight with Mute in order to win a second War Machines title. Then on the other side, we have Mute right there, where they definitely proved to be a huge spinner killer with some wins over some of the biggest spinners here, and a huge run for their money with Carbide, who halted their chances basically. Yeah, so Mute did have to go through the last chance brackets where they were dominant against even non-spinners right there with that ground game and the power in that flipper right there. So Mute's definitely proven that durability is not their only strength right there, and they'll surely be using that to try and knock off the defending champion. I'd say let's go ahead and get to this fight. Time for this matchup to begin here. Both robots meeting in the middle right there. They're lancing it out with both their flippers right there. Nice flip from Eruption right there to knock Mute off balance right there. Now we got some more head-on action in the middle. Who's going to get underneath the other first right now? Relatively even ground game here, which could be favorable for really either robot right there. Eruption gets underneath Mute once again, letting a few more nice flips right there, and now Mute's in the corner right now. This is not where Mute wants to be, especially when you have an opponent like the defending champion here. Nice flip from Eruption. It gives Mute a serious amount of airtime right there. And sends Mute all the way across the arena right there. A couple more nice flips from Eruption right now, and yeah, this is devastating stuff to see right there from Eruption, who's just knocking Mute off balance time and time again. This is exactly what I was talking about. I knew this was going to be a battle for ground game right here, and Eruption is definitely winning that so far right now, just not giving Mute the upper hand basically. And now being in the middle, challenging each other's ground game right there, and Eruption gets underneath Mute again right there. But now Mute getting underneath Eruption, letting a couple flips of their own here. Mute needs to rebound from all those points that Eruption stacked up with all that flipping right there. We're already at the halfway point of this match right now. Eruption definitely on top, so Mute needs to rebound or even get a knockout or something. So now these two challenging each other's ground game once again. That's proven to not go in Mute's favor most of the time right there. And now Eruption flips Mute again right there, and putting Mute in another corner once again. So yeah, this is not going the right direction for Mute. Mute, who might need to win this one by a knockout, because those flips are really stacking up right there. But now Mute getting underneath Eruption. Could this be their time to turn the tide right there? Both robots nearing control board damage, as kind of expected, just from the fact that both these robots have been flipped time and time again. Eruption has Mute in the corner once again, trying to get Mute out of the arena, but struggling to do so here. I saw some sparks right there. Could we be seeing a control board KO right in this flipper battle? Great fight so far between these two robots as we approach the 30-second mark in this fight. Some more head-on action between those two robots trying to get underneath the other right there. And I definitely say Eruption's ahead on points. Misflip right there, and now Mute underneath. Could this be Mute's time? They probably need to get a knockout here. Can they do it right now? Eruption managing to flip over Mute right there to self-right, and it gives them the breathing room they needed right there. And huge flip, and out of the arena goes Mute right there. And Eruption is going to win it in the last 10 seconds of that fight. Yeah, and so Apollo will have a date with Eruption coming in the next round based off of what we just saw right there. But if you look at slow motion replay here, you notice that that wasn't actually an Eruption flip that sent Mute out of the arena. It was actually Mute trying to self-right right there, but they accidentally flung themselves out of the arena right there, and regardless, it was entertaining to see though, so it's a pretty funny way to go out, I'd say. No shame to Mute in that, because like Mute got to the grand final. So yeah, back and forth fight. Definitely another great flipper battle between two great flippers right there. Back and forth action here, and then it ended up being Mute out of the arena, so we'll see Eruption move on to the next round, and as I said, they will take on Apollo in the next round. Next matchup, we got 3 left to go in this round. We got the battle of the Ironaws, Ironaws 7 and Ironaw 2.1. It's a battle between one of the most powerful flippers in this competition with an opponent who has a combination of a flipper and a hammer right there in Ironaw 2.1. Yeah, so this one's probably going to come down to, once again, ground game. And how will Ironaw 2.1, the lost bracket champion, how well Ironaw 2.1 can utilize that second weapon right there? Because that is the big advantage that Ironaw 2.1 has in this matchup, in my opinion. So yeah, you probably have a good idea of what this fight's going to come down to right now and all that stuff. So I'd say let's go ahead and talk about these two robots. So with Ironaw 7, and right there, Ironaw 7, another flipper that's been absolutely relentless, giving some opponents some serious airtime in this one. Like, I'd say if I gave any robot the award for most powerful flipper, I would probably give it to Ironaw 7. But there are several other powerful flippers here that could easily win that award too. So, Ironaw 7 has been relentless with that flipper, knocking opponents out of the arena time and time again, and as proven in their fight with 900 in their semifinal. Even if they take significant damage, never underestimate this robot. Their opponent is Ironaw 2.1, who has had the fewest fights out of all the robots here right now. They went through the lost bracket in order to get here, an 8 robot bracket that would claim 1 spot in the grand final. So Ironaw 2.1 won their way with that sufficient ground game right there, and the use of that hammer to cause a little bit of damage to their opponents right there. So yeah, this will be an entertaining flipper battle between these robots. I'd say let's go ahead and get right to it and find out who's going to advance to the next round. Time for this matchup to begin here. Both robots meeting in the middle, and Ironaw 2.1 getting underneath first and landing shots with both the flipper and the axe right there. But now Ironaw 7 getting underneath, landing a huge flip that sends Ironaw 2.1 to the ceiling. Battle of the Ironaws here. This one's going to come down to ground game, and so far Ironaw 2.1 seems to be winning most of those encounters. Nice flip from Ironaw 7 though right there, but Ironaw 2.1 lands upright, and now landing some more flips of their own to knock Ironaw 7 off balance right there. Some more head-on action, but Ironaw 7 is just hitting a brick wall every time they try to challenge the front right there. But now getting underneath to the sides, huge flip, and out of the arena goes the lost bracket champion right there. That is going to do it for Ironaw 2.1 in less than a minute. So I definitely was betting this one was going to come down to ground game right there, and that's not exactly what happened. So yeah, it seemed like Ironaw 2.1 had the lower ground between the two robots, because they definitely got more flips in between them and got a few axe shots in here and there. But that wasn't enough right there. Ironaw 7, some phenomenal driving right there. They managed to challenge, like, not the front exactly, but managed to get off to the side enough to where they could get underneath Ironaw 2.1 and use that powerful flipper in order to send 2.1 out of the arena and advance themselves to the next round. Ironaw 7, great stuff from them. Definitely another robot to watch out for, and they will take on the winner of the last match of the first round, which will be between Last Rites and Bullfrog. But before we get to that one, we're gonna go to the first quadrant once again, where we get a battle between Neutron and Hades to determine. So the winner of this one will have a devastating matchup with Carbide coming, and I'm sure both these robots saw their fight with Electric Boogaloo earlier in this episode. So yeah, so what that fight's going to come down to is, once again, going to be ground game, and who can use their weapon the more effectively. Because on one side we get Neutron with the vertical spinner, who has a lot of speed, lots of maneuverability, and pretty good ground game too. So surely they're going to be trying to use all that to their advantage. While on the other hand, we got Hades, who has pretty solid ground game and a very powerful flipper right there. definitely both robots are going to be looking to control the other, basically, and use that to their advantage in order to win this fight. So, yeah, probably not much more to talk about this one, so let's go ahead and talk about both these robots and how they got here. Yeah, so on one hand, we got Neutron, who is the higher seed, but only by 1 here in this matchup. Neutron has been, I'd say their weapon has definitely not been the most destructive, but most of their fights they've won just on the fact that they've been able to control the match with not just the vertical spinner, but with that ground game, their speed, and their maneuverability. Neutron is a robot here that I personally believe is a little bit underseeded here, because they've been able to win many of their fights in such dominant fashion, even against some really big names here, in order to get this far. But their opposition is Hades. Hades with a powerful flipper right there, who has basically won their matches by just flipping several of their opponents out of the arena right there. They definitely have a tough challenge in Neutron right here, but I'm sure their strategy is going to be the same right there. Hades has a really powerful flipper, like several other robots in this round right here, and sure enough, Hades is going to be trying to show it off in this fight with Neutron. Let's go ahead and get right to this showdown, I'd say. Time for this matchup to begin here. And now both robots meet in the middle. Hades landing in a very early flip to start this one off. Hades winning the ground game very early on, but now Neutron avoiding the front right now and getting some shots in with that vertical spinner right now. Looks like Neutron going against and going head on with Hades right now and trying to avoid the front. They took a couple of flips right there. Hades is clearly the lower to the ground robot, as kind of expected right there, and sure enough, here comes Neutron charging and hitting at the sides and the backside of Hades once again right there. Just continuing to land jab after jab in this one, and just continuing to knock Hades off balance once again. Charging right in there, looking to hit some of the sides, challenging the flipper right there, hitting some of the top with the vertical spinner, trying to deal some damage, but so far not any major damage. But Neutron been a little more about their durability and controlling the match right now, and that is surely what's happening right here. Because ever since Hades got a couple flips in, they haven't had really anything going in this match, so be careful about exposing your backside right there. Charging head on once again. I wonder if they bent the front of Hades or something like that, because now Hades just ain't getting underneath Neutron. Neutron's just been too fast, too maneuverable, and all that stuff, so continuing to land jab after jab right here. It's just been doing like a nibble on Hades or something, because not really any real damage right there, so Hades needs to be able to reset right here, but Neutron just not exactly allowing that big flip right there. Biggest flip of the match so far. Another huge flip from Hades right there. Definitely some pretty good points, but I don't think it'll match the points that Neutron has already picked up so far. So Hades needs to do a bit more. They might need to win this one by knockout, but right now Neutron is on the attack once again, continuing to land hit after hit with that vertical spinner right there. It's been an excellent control and driving match here, but some really good driving from Neutron right there in this one in order to control this match right now. So, right now Hades trying to get underneath once again, but Neutron really winning the ground game right now. So this has been an absolute war between these two, an absolute driving match. Big flip from Hades right there. They need to rebound from that. The pit is now open with 20 seconds left to go. Is one robot possibly going to go down it in those last 15 seconds now? So right now, continuing to go head on between these two robots. An instant classic here. Less than 10 seconds to go. Nice flip from Hades, and right now knocking Neutron off balance as the clock hits 0, getting a last second flip in there. This fight is going to the judges for our first judges decision of the episode. Yeah, great showdown between these two robots right there, as this matchup turned out to be more of a driving match, more than a battle between destructive power and a control bot, basically. So, but on one hand, while Hades was getting was definitely have the more effective control moments, I felt, for most of them. Because Neutron definitely had some great control moments too. Neutron definitely controlled more of the match right there with that vertical spinner, knocking the other off, knocking Hades off balance right there with that vertical spinner, and using their speed and maneuverability to their advantage, which were two of their strengths coming into this showdown. So yeah, I think this judge's decision is going to come down to what the judges thought of both robots' moments. Because like I said, I would consider Hades, who had the more, I'd say they had the bigger moments between the two robots, but Neutron definitely controlled more of the fight and had some great control moments of their own right there. So yes, there's a lot on the line here for this one, and I'd say this one really could go in anyone's direction. So the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Neutron! I would probably agree with that decision right there, because I felt Neutron, with the fact that they controlled more this match right there, I think they probably won the decision off of that. But huge shout out to Hades for getting this far and providing us with another entertainment brawl right there with that powerful flipper right there. Hades will definitely be rebounding from this one. I could definitely see Hades going further in a future season. So let's move on to the last match of the first round, where we got Bullfrog and Last Rites. First, going to talk about Last Rites here with that devastating horizontal spinner. Let's also just mention right here that both of these robots were actually in the same heat, and so if Bullfrog didn't lose to PP3D, they would have actually fought. So, but back to this Last Rites, devastating horizontal spinner, the runner-up from last season. Definitely will be looking to rebound and go that one step further, but they gotta go through Bullfrog first. Last Rites is surely going to be getting that horizontal spinner up to speed as quickly as possible, avoid the box rush that will surely be coming, and try to cause as much damage as possible. But never count out Bullfrog though. Not only do they have a very powerful flipper at their hands, but that robot also has insane durability to it. But then how will it fare against one of the more powerful spinners in the competition right there? We'll find out soon, but let's go ahead and discuss both these robots once again for the last time of the night. Yeah, and so at the higher seed we have Last Rites with that horizontal spinner right there. Last Rites will surely be looking to get that horizontal spinner up to full speed and looking to try to cause as much devastation as possible against Bullfrog as they have in all their previous matchups, as that has been their big strength. Because like while Last Rites does not have a lot of armor and 2 exposed wheels, that horizontal spinner has been so brutal to lots of their opponents so far, and definitely been their big strength coming into this comp, and their reason for why they are the former runner-up. So yeah, and then their opponent, Bullfrog. If there were any robot who'd get the award for the biggest comeback this season, it'd probably be Bullfrog. Because Bullfrog has had the most fights out of anybody out of these 16 robots so far. Because Bullfrog, they started off with their heat, winning their opening round matchup. Then they had 3 matchups in their semifinal. They started off with a win, then lost to PP3D, who halted their plans. Then they won their 3rd place match in order to confirm a spot in the last chance bracket. They went through the first last chance bracket, won that one, another 4 fights. Then they went through the next bracket, the one that determined these 5 spots. They didn't win the bracket, but they did perform well enough in order to get to this position. Yeah, I think they've had around 12 fights in this season so far, which is the most out of anybody here. So we're gonna see how well Bullfrog was able to hold up after all of those fights. So, but definitely Bullfrog will be looking to continue to go further as far as they can. Gonna look to keep going here, but they got a big challenge ahead of them. Let's go ahead and get to this matchup and determine who's going to be taking on Ironaut 7 in the next round. Time for this matchup to begin here. Now Last Rites continue to get the horizontal spinner to speed and off balance. A nice flip from Bullfrog. Nice jab to the sides there from Last Rites. Now Bullfrog has popped Last Rites up into the air right now. Nice flip from Bullfrog right there. And now Bullfrog's flipped over and they take a huge hit from Last Rites right there. They're great stuff right there. And now some more weapon-on-weapon action between those two robots here. And now knocking Last Rites off balance again is Bullfrog, who has Last Rites in the corner right now. But now Last Rites gets out of it and lands a blow of their own in order to help them get some breathing room right there. Bullfrog just continue to pop Last Rites up in the air, which is probably their game plan. And box rush Last Rites, knock that robot off balance, and maybe use that kinetic energy against themselves, basically. It's working out pretty well so far, I'd say, because they are controlling the brunt of this matchup so far and avoiding taking some major damage right now. But they have been taking a bunch of huge hits there, so we could very easily have something happen in these last 2 minutes right there. But I would say Bullfrog is ahead on points right now, though. So right now, Last Rites continue to get the horizontal spin up to speed. They are now off balance once again. Bullfrog using that flipper to try to keep them off balance here, trying to get Last Rites out of the arena, but they just miss. Last Rites gets enough breathing room in order to escape right now, but Bullfrog just staying on them pretty well in this fight, is capitalizing pretty well. This Frog's doing pretty well to start this matchup off. We are now through the halfway point of this match right now, and I think it's safe to say Last Rites falling behind on points right now. The 3 seed is on, the former runner-up could be on the ropes right now. Now, huge hit right there that knocks Bullfrog back right now. Last Rites has definitely been getting a lot of points of their own, so gotta give them credit for that. So a bunch more jabs right to the sides, trying to get through that armor, get to the wheel, but so far it hasn't been working out in their favor. This durability on Bullfrog is incredible. Huge hit from Last Rites, but now Bullfrog right side up, laying another big flip once again is Bullfrog right now, sending Last Rites just off balance, out of control here. And now Last Rites swerving over here, trying to slice the flipper, but doesn't quite get that. So a little more than 30 seconds to go in this fight right now, and Last Rites almost sent itself out of the arena right there. That would have been pretty impressive. That would have been something pretty cool to see if that did happen, though. So less than 30 seconds to go here. Bullfrog landing a couple more nice flips. Last Rites getting a couple more big jabs, and with that horizontal spinner right there, I did see some control board action though on Last Rites too. So definitely this is not going the right direction for Last Rites as we now approach the 0 mark on the clock. This fight is going to the judges, and what a showdown we just saw right there. Man, that was incredible right there. What a way for Bullfrog to perform in that fight. Man, after Bullfrog fell apart in the match of PP3D, I did not expect them to survive this showdown. And not only did they survive this showdown, but they didn't seem to take a lot of damage in that fight, which is so incredible, meaning they probably repaired their robot pretty well and managed to learn from their loss to PP3D. So yeah, so this fight is going to come down to the judges here, and there's a lot to take in here. Last Rites has definitely had some impressive control moments themselves. That powerful spinner will definitely get some damage credits for that. But then, keep in mind though, the big piece of damage we saw was actually control board action on Last Rites. So Bullfrog's definitely going to be getting some credit for that, and like, and just wow, this was incredible. Bullfrog looked to use Last Rites' kinetic energy from that horizontal spinner against itself, and did that very well to keep Last Rites off balance right there. Brilliant strategizing from the people behind Bullfrog, and definitely this one will be an interesting judge's decision. Let's go ahead and find out what the judges had to say. So now the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Bullfrog! Bullfrog already mentioned that they have had more fights than anybody. They are going to fight again after taking, and now that'll be it for the former runner-up right there. Last Rites, looks like probably those big control moments as well as the control board action that Bullfrog pulled on Last Rites was probably what won at the decision here, and this was great stuff from Bullfrog right there. Very impressive showdown, taking it to a huge horizontal spinner in Last Rites right there. Sadly, we'll have to say goodbye to Last Rites and all that stuff, so yeah, great entertainment from Last Rites throughout all their matches, but we'll see Bullfrog in the next round where they'll take on Iron All 7. So let's go ahead and review the bracket. For the top, yeah, so right at the top we got Carbide, once again, who managed to get through Electric Boogaloo in their first round. They have a showdown with the vertical spinner of Neutron. Then over on the other side, we got a flipper battle. We always love those, between Eruption and Apollo. Battle between two very powerful flippers. Then right down below, we got another flipper battle. We got Bullfrog, who just knocked off the 3 seed. They have a showdown with Iron 7 coming. This should be another great flipper battle. Then finally, over on the other side, we got the robot who knocked off the 4 seed Sewer Snake, who is going to take on Swarm. That'll be which is a rematch too from a previous semifinal, which was a great and back and forth showdown here that I expect is going to get pretty violent once again. So, all right. So now let's go ahead and get to our first matchup of this, where we are going to go to the 2 seed Eruption, who's going to take on the 7 seed Apollo. We always love a good flipper battle, and we got 2 very powerful flippers here in these 2 robots. So, Eruption Apollo, this one's going to come down to ground game, I'd say. Who's the lower to the ground flipper? Who can take the opposing flips better? Who can rebound? Because I imagine one or both of these robots are going to be going flying, and I predict one of these robots is going to end out of the arena, because like I haven't pulled it or anything like that, or calculated it or anything like that, but I would suspect out of all the flipper battles we've seen, probably at least 3/4 of those fights have ended in a robot going out of the arena. So I suspect something like that's going to happen here. Anyway, I'd say let's go ahead and get to the showdown and find out who's gonna claim the first spot in the final 4. Will it be the defending champion Eruption, or will it be the rookie contender Apollo? I'd say let's go ahead and get to this matchup. Time for this matchup to begin here. Both robots meeting in the middle. Eruption laying a nice flip right there on Apollo to start things off here. We have flipper battle of the ages between these two. Happened quite a few times in Robot Wars, and so far Eruption getting underneath very early on. Now Apollo gets underneath, laying a huge flip on Eruption right there. I don't think we've seen Eruption get that much airtime in either season. So, both robots meeting in the middle once again, testing the other's ground game. And definitely Eruption seems to be winning the ground game more often, and Apollo's getting sent flying now. Oh, right there. And Eruption staying on Apollo right there, almost sending Apollo out of the arena here. Big stuff from both robots to start this one off. Nice flip from Eruption once again, who's continuing to knock Apollo off balance. Nice flips once again. Apollo needs to get some breathing room and get something going here right now, because Eruption is definitely stacking up the points right here. Both robots meeting in the middle, and now Apollo underneath Eruption. Nice flip from Apollo right there once again. And so, but now Apollo needs to get out of that corner right there before Eruption takes advantage of that. Some more head-on action. Nice flip from Eruption right there. Nice flip from Apollo right there, knocking Eruption off balance. Pretty back and forth fight, but now Apollo has the defending champion against the ropes here, now putting the defending champion in the corner here. Great stuff from Apollo once again. Nice flip from Eruption. Back and forth fight. I don't think we've seen a fight more back and forth than this so far this season, and proving both robots want that final 4 spot. Nice flip once again. Nice flip from Apollo right there, putting Eruption right back into the corner. And yeah, here we go again. Nice flip, almost getting Eruption out of the arena right there. They were so close. Another huge flip that almost gets Eruption out of the arena once again. Close call right there from Eruption, but Eruption needs to rebound here. Never thought I'd be saying that about the defending champion here. Nice flip once again, and out of the arena goes Eruption. The defending champion has fallen. So now we can confirm that there will be a new champion of War Machines from the Robot Wars RA2 mod, because now Apollo has dethroned the champion by flinging it out of the arena. What an incredible flipper battle that was. So back and forth right there. Looked like Eruption was getting underneath more times, but Apollo was able to rebound and get underneath Eruption many times of their own and toss Eruption around themselves right there. So I don't think we've ever seen that much air mileage from like both robots on the other, basically. So very incredible stuff that we just saw right there, and eventually ended in Apollo tossing Eruption clean out of the arena in order to win this fight. Apollo will claim the first spot in this season's Final Four, where they will take on the winner of Bullfrog and Iron 7 in order to try to claim a spot in this season's grand final fight. So that will determine the championship. Which, by the way, that fight does happen to be happening next, where we will see Bullfrog, the 14th seed, who's going to take on Iron 7, the 6th seed. Crazy how we just came out of a great flipper battle, and we're going into another flipper battle between two great flippers. So Bullfrog definitely been the robot that has come out of nowhere this season. Like, they started off, they had a pretty reasonable first season at War Machines, but then they managed to top that clearly by getting to the top 8 this season, and will be looking to go one step further. And right now they have Iron 7 in their path, who has been to the top 8 before, which they were last season. So yeah, this one's going to come down to ground game once again, like the last time, and who can control the match the best between the two of them. And I think that's what's going to come down to in this matchup, and I'd say let's go ahead and get right to this showdown. Alright, here we go right now. Both robots meeting in the middle right now, and Eruption letting, well, Iron letting a glancing flip right there. Nice flip right there, though, from Iron 7. Another nice flip from Iron 7. But now Bullfrog getting underneath, letting a flip of their own right there. Great stuff from them right now. Now knocking Iron 7 off balance right there, trying to rebound from the early flips that Iron 7 got. Nice flip from Iron 7, sending Bullfrog flying once again. Huge flip right there from Iron 7. Right there, just continuing to knock Bullfrog off balance right there, and continue to stay on Bullfrog. Great driving from Iron 7, continue to capitalize on knocking Bullfrog off balance, continue to send them flying like I said, Bullfrog's hopping like an actual frog. So, oh yeah. Bullfrog need himself right and get some breathing room here, but Iron is just not allowing that to happen right now. Oh, Bullfrog is just losing the ground game war between these two robots. Huge flip right there once again from Iron 7. And now Bullfrog out of the arena goes Bullfrog right there on a huge flip from Iron 7. Another flipper battle ends with a flipper robot being out of the arena right there. Very classic stuff, so yeah, so that's going to do it for this matchup right there. This one is going to be a ground game war, and Iron 7 was definitely winning the ground game for a majority of this matchup right there, and that helped them win this fight. They were just constantly scooping up Bullfrog with that flipper and just sending them flying as high as they possibly could, basically, and then eventually got Bullfrog clean out of the arena in order to get this W, and we'll see Iron 7 who will take on Apollo in the next round. Another great flipper battle is on the way, and I'm sure that one's going to be as entertaining as those last two were. Great fight. Let's move on, where we got the 1-seed Carbide, who's going to take on the 8-seeded Neutron in this next showdown. Yeah, so this one's another spinner battle between a horizontal spinner and a vertical spinner right there. Neutron, who's going to be looking to use that speed and maneuverability to their advantage right now, try to knock Carbide off balance and try to win those weapon-on-weapon exchanges and try to do a little bit of damage to Carbide. While Carbide's surely going to be trying to land hit after hit on Neutron, try to damage that robot as much as possible and win the fight that way, basically. So yeah, that's what this one's going to come down to exactly, and I'm definitely looking forward to this fight. I'd say let's go ahead and get right to this one and find out who's going to claim the third spot in the Final Four. Time for this matchup to begin here. Both robots charging in there. Neutron knocking Carbide off balance, getting a huge hit right there. Neutron now has Carbide in the corner right there. Looks like Neutron's going to be looking to use Carbide's instability to their advantage in this fight. Some serious weapon-on-weapon action right there. That's going to be something you're going to want to watch out for. The Pit of Oblivion is now open. And now, between those two robots, after Neutron just opened it, they're going to try to knock Carbide down it. You probably want to get a quick knockout when taking on a robot like Carbide. A few glancing blows here by Carbide. Now Neutron trying to push Carbide down it. Can they do it? Can they do it? Very close right there. And just knock off balance. And Neutron almost got knocked down the pit right there with that hit by Carbide. These hits are just devastating from these two robots right there. And all that stuff. So, and once again, now Neutron knocking Carbide off balance. Here we go once again, and charging right in there is, and now Carbide looks like they were underneath Neutron to start this one off. Another weapon-on-weapon shot between these two robots, and this has been a chaotic first minute to start this match off right there. They're continuing to get to the sides of Carbide once again to knock it off balance. Is Neutron, who's definitely been controlling the brunt of this match so far. What a first minute and a half that we've seen here. Nearly some pit action right there once again. Carbide almost falling down it. Neutron almost falling down it. Neutron almost falling down it again with that hit that Carbide landed. And that hit right there. Definitely lots of drama going on involving that pit right there. Hard to believe that. So, geez. A little over a minute to go. How are these two lasting in this one? I was betting this fight was going to end in a knockout, and both these robots proving their durability very well in this one. Just being able to take the other's hits well, especially Neutron has been able to take impact after impact from Carbide right now. One of the most brutal spinners so far. Maybe Neutron is one of the most brutal one of the most durable robots in the mod. Like, holy crap. Neutron is just a tank right in here. Less than a minute to go here. Carbide off balance right now once again. Neutron looking to keep it that way right now, doing a brilliant job at it. A little over 30 seconds left to go in this fight. What a chaotic showdown here. Almost getting out of the arena is Carbide once again, and Neutron just staying on them, looking to land hit after hit onto the top right now. Neither of these robots are backing down on the other here. Not much time left to go in this fight here. Here comes Neutron, continuing to charge in there right now, and continue to knock Carbide off balance once again. Less than 10 seconds to go in this fight, and it's looking like this fight is going to go to the judges. And it has. What a fight that was right there. Great showdown from these two robots, and Carbide ends up out of the arena at the very end of it, but because the clock hits 0 right there, this fight is going to go to the judges. So wow, this fight did not go at all how I expected it to. I expected a lot of pieces to be broken off both robots and scattered all over the arena here, and that was definitely not the case right there. Carbide managed to land a lot of the hits they wanted to, but not a lot of damage was caused. And Neutron didn't cause a lot of damage themselves. We saw the pit open, show that both these robots were going to try to go for the knockout on the other, but that just did not happen between these two robots, and the clock ended up hitting 0. Huge credit to both these robots for their durability right there, especially to Neutron, because nobody's been able to take hits like that from Carbide, and Neutron took them very well here. So yeah, there's a lot on the line here. I don't think there's really much more to talk about, so let's go ahead and get to this decision. Alright, so the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Neutron! So now we saw the 2 seed fall in this one, and the 1 seed has fallen as well. Just shows how much potential all 16 of these robots have at winning the title right there. So Neutron won the fight probably off of the fact that they controlled a big chunk of this matchup and took advantage of Carbide's instability right there. And great stuff from Neutron once again. And definitely Neutron will be moving on to the next round where they'll take on the winner of our last matchup here. Great victory by Neutron. Great stuff from Carbide, who's come so far this season, on the rookie season as well. Top 8 on the first year War Machines, and definitely great stuff to see. So let's go ahead and move on to our next fight, the last one of this round, where it is a rematch from this season, Swarm and Toxic 2, in what was one of the most chaotic finals in the semifinals. So Yeah, definitely what happened last time. Swarm managed to get through all that armor on Toxic 2 and win the fight that way, and Toxic 2 was trying to control the fight with that flipper, take advantage of Swarm's instability, and it just was not enough, so Swarm ended up coming out on top by a knockout in that one. And Toxic 2 is going to have a chance to rebound on that, so yeah, so this one's definitely come down to, can Swarm get the hits they wanted once again in this one, or will Toxic 2 manage to get the flips they want and knock Swarm off balance and hold up to all those brutal hits from that devastating horizontal spinner? Let's go ahead and find out, and let's go ahead and find out who's going to claim that last Final Four spot. Time for this match to begin here, and a few more jabs right there from that horizontal spinner once again here, and as Toxic Swarm is off balance once again. Toxic 2 being very conservative of that flipper right there. They land a flip right there, but not much done, and Swarm got a huge hit in. And now huge flip from Toxic 2 that knocks Swarm off balance, and Swarm brands itself into the rails right there. There's Swarm getting a couple hits onto the front of Toxic 2 once again, and now Swarm is off balance right now, and now Chuck almost trying to get out of the arena, but Swarm ends up hitting the rails instead with that horizontal spinner speed right there. This is exactly what Toxic 2 is trying to go for, but they are taking some huge hits right there, so the damage could start stacking up if Toxic 2 is not careful, as it did last time. Nice shots from Swarm right there in order to get the breathing room it needed and keep Toxic 2 off its back. And now Toxic 2 is on them again and laying some huge flips, knocking Swarm off balance once again. This is a chaotic fight to start it off and almost getting Swarm out of the arena once again. And right there, so that's definitely what Toxic 2 is clearly going for in this fight, and like a couple more nice flips right there and just continue to knock Swarm off balance right now, almost getting it out of the arena right there, almost getting it out of the arena again. Several close calls here from Swarm right now. Toxic 2 is just staying on them with that flipper right there, while Swarm is willing to jab time and time again here in this fight. Crazy how Toxic 2 is being able to survive this. Halfway through this fight, I don't even want to try to guess who is winning this fight right now. This is just too much fun to watch right now. We're over halfway through this match, as I said, and now Swarm got the breathing room they needed. Huge hit from Swarm right there. Now Toxic 2 trying to get onto them once again. Continue to knock Swarm off balance once again. And now here comes Toxic 2 taking Swarm into the corner once again and all that stuff. So yeah, continue to knock jab after jab right there. Here is Swarm once again, and Toxic 2 trying to stay on them once again here, almost getting Swarm out of the arena again. So, less than a minute to go. This has been one chaotic fight right there. Oh, so close that time! But the walls outside managed to prevent Swarm from getting pushed out of the arena right there. And holy crap, how long can these two robots last right now? What a fight this has been for this Final Four spot. Like, we don't typically see a rematch more entertaining than this, but we surely enough in the game, but Swarm falls down the pit right there, and that's going to do it for this one. Wow. I was speechless after that fight. That was just chaotic right there. Basically, time and time again, Toxic 2's goal was just to stay on Swarm, just knock them off balance as much as they possibly can right there, and they surely did that to perfection in this fight for the most part. Swarm definitely got a lot of the hits they wanted, but they weren't able to do as much damage as they did when they last fought. So, definitely that factored big time into this fight, but great stuff from Toxic 2. Several close calls to almost getting Swarm out of the arena right there, but sadly the pit ended up getting open at some point in that match, and Swarm ended up hitting off the arena rails, and that inertia right there ended up knocking them down the pit right there. Man, I'm almost starting to get onto the side of Pori and Civilian Art, because I wish I would have seen 30 more seconds of that rather than seeing Swarm slip down the pit like that, because like that was some big time entertainment for the ages here. But it'll be Toxic 2 moving on, where Toxic 2 just got its payback right there, and they'll be moving on to take on Neutron, the last spinner remaining in this competition. So let's go ahead and check out the bracket that I'm here for. Okay, so now for the top four. we got the 8-seeded Neutron, who is going to take on the 13-seeded Toxic 2. That will be the first matchup of the Final Four. And then on the other side, we got a flipper battle between the 6th and the 7th seed, Iron 7 and Apollo. We got 2 more great matchups going here. 4 robots left. One of these robots is going to come out with the title here. Who knows? Who knows who could take this one? It could really go to anyone. So let's go ahead and get to this first matchup here. We're going to go to the 8-seeded Neutron and the 13-seeded Toxic 2. Yeah, and so Neutron, who just came out of knocking off the top-seeded Neutron just came out of knocking off the top-seeded Carbide in their recent matchup, while Toxic 2 managed to win just one of the most chaotic matches in War Machine's history in that victory against Swarm right there. And this is going to be surely going to be one brutal showdown here. Yeah, and so Neutron's going to be probably going to go for the same strategy they were using against Hades. Try to use that speed and maneuver ability to knock Toxic 2 off balance as much as possible, while Toxic 2 is going to be trying to win the ground game early on, flip Neutron over, and try to keep them off balance and get them out of the arena or something like that, or down the pit or something like that, like what they did last time. So yeah, this one's going to come down to lots of that stuff, and I'd say let's go ahead and get right to this one and find out who's going to claim the first spot in tonight's final for the title. Time for this matchup to begin. Both robots made in the middle. Toxic 2 landing the first flip right there. Neutron's going to need to adjust their driving tactics like what they did against Hades right there. Now trying to get to the sides. Toxic 2. Nice flip from Toxic 2. Huge flip right there that almost gets Neutron out of the arena right there. Amazing how Neutron was able to stay into the arena right there after that. And now Neutron trying to rebound right there, trying to get some breathing room. They are landing a few jabs with that vertical spinner, but not much real damage so far. Charging right in there, testing the ground game is Neutron here, who is now knocking Toxic 2 off balance once again. So yeah, not even a minute into this fight, now Neutron started to rebound with a bunch of shots of their own with that vertical spinner, trying to control the fight that way. Great stuff from Neutron right there to rebound from all those flips Toxic 2 got on it at the beginning of this fight. But now Toxic 2 got the breathing room they needed, and now landing a flip of their own right there. Nice flip from Toxic 2, huge flip, and Neutron is gone! Civilian Arc is probably cheering at the back of his computer right now, because I know he definitely has a hate for Neutron. So this one, he probably enjoyed seeing that. So yeah, that'll be it for Neutron. After that, out of the arena right there, Toxic 2 definitely started this fight up strong with that flipper, but then Neutron adjusted their driving tactics and started hammering at the sides and the backside of Toxic 2 with that vertical spinner and knocking Toxic 2 off balance. But then Toxic 2 got the breathing room they needed and got a couple of more flips of their own, and eventually managed to get Neutron out of the arena in order to win this fight. We're going to see Toxic 2 in the final for this bracket. Toxic 2, who had to go through the last chance brackets, now in the final. Could they possibly take it? They won the Fuck It tournament done by the Dominus Ignis. So could they win a season of War Machines as well? They got one last fight in order to determine that, and we're going to find out who they have a date with between Iron 7 and Apollo that is this other matchup. So yeah, we have a very good flipper battle on the way here, I feel. Both robots coming out of winning a flipper battle. Apollo knocking off the defending champion Eruption in their previous round matchup. Iron 7 knocking off what is probably the dark horse this season in Bullfrog. So yeah. So this one's definitely going to come down to ground game once again between these two robots. And yeah, you kind of get the idea. So pretty much about the strategy. Pretty much about the same strategy that all other flipper battles have had. So there's not really much more to talk about. Let's find out who is going to claim that other spot in the finals and take on Toxic 2 for the War Machine Season 3.1 Championship. I'd say let's go ahead and get to this showdown. Time for this match to begin. Both robots meet in the middle. Iron All 7 gets the first flip right there. And now landing a couple flips on Apollo. Once again, nice flip from Iron All 7. Continue to knock Apollo off balance right there. Great start from Iron All 7, who is now not moving right now. Did they have drive issues or something? Now Iron All 7's on the move once again right here. Can't tell if that was just a temporary issue or something, but regardless though, so here comes Apollo. Nice flip of their own right there after being knocked off balance several times by Iron All. Now Iron All laying a couple more flips of their own here. Great start from Iron All at this one. And now meeting in the middle once again. Nice flip from Apollo, who managed to catch Iron All 7 at one point where they were vulnerable right there and stuff. So yeah, first minute in for this fight, and it's been pretty back and forth to start this one off here. Great start from these two flippers. Nice flip from Iron All, knocking Apollo off balance there. They're once again giving Apollo some serious airtime. And now another nice flip from Iron All 7. Apollo needs to avoid going for the front right there because it's just not working. Iron All 7 is clearly the lower to the ground robot between the two of them. And another nice flip from Iron All here. Nice flip once again. Iron All 7 just continuing to knock Apollo off balance here. Now Iron All not moving once again and showing their backside. That's a pretty big mistake right there when going up against another big flipper like Apollo, and especially in the final four here. Nice flip from Apollo, almost getting Iron All out of the arena. Nice to Sparks as well. Iron All 7 is clearly taking damage in the control board category, and now they are making Apollo pay for that. Nice flip. Couple flips from Apollo after taking many big flips from Iron All 7 here once again. A couple more nice flips from Apollo trying to get Iron All out of the arena. What a back and forth fight we are seeing. 1 minute left to go. Is somebody going to get out of the arena like what we've seen? I saw more control board damage from Iron All 7 here. Iron All 7, could they be on their last legs? Nice flip from Iron All 7 right there once again here. So much to account for here right now, because Iron All 7 has definitely been getting more flips as they almost get Apollo out of the arena right there. Crazy how many close calls we've gotten in the grand final for robots almost going out of the arena right there. Nice flip from Apollo once again here, and yeah, nice flip from Apollo again here. I'd say Iron All 7 has had more flips, but Apollo, you can see Apollo has been causing some control board damage here, and they're having some drive issues in a couple times in this match here. And now Iron All 7 staying on Apollo once again. 15 seconds left to go in this fight. Are we going to see a judge's decision in this incredible back and forth flipper battle? What a fight this has been. Less than 10 seconds to go here, and Apollo trying to land a glancing lift, but then Iron All 7 ends up winning the flipper battle right at the end there, getting a last second flip, and this fight is going to the judges, basically. Okay, I'm glad I'm a chump commentator for this season of War Machines, because I would not want to be a judge with this one. Definitely this is going to be a really tough one to call right there, and this is a big decision too, because the winner of this one's going to get a chance to claim the War Machines title. So, yeah, you get the idea. So, this fight, very back and forth between these two robots. Several robots getting flips on Apollo and Iron All, getting flips after flip on each other, giving each other some serious airtime right there. But I would definitely say Iron All 7 landed the higher number of flips between the two robots. But then on the other hand, Apollo caused some control board damage in Iron All 7. So it's pretty impressive that Iron All 7 managed to survive this fight after their control board was on red for probably the last minute of that fight. So that's probably some big damage points that could go in Apollo's favor in this one. So, like I said, I would not want to be a judge for this one. So, yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and find out who's going to be the one taking on Toxic 2 in this season's final. Okay, so the judges' votes are in, and we have a split decision. Judge Civilian Arc scored this battle in favor of Apollo. Judge Porygon scored this battle in favor of Iron All 7. Judge Aqua scored this battle in favor of the winner, Iron All 7. wow. Like, as I said, I would not want to be a judge for that one. That was a very close showdown. I'm not even going to give my answer for who I felt won that fight, because, like, if you guys want to give your opinion on who you thought won that fight, go ahead in the comments, and it's down below, because, like, I feel this fight definitely could have gone either way. Like, that was a beast of a showdown between those two robots. Like, we always love to see back and forth action from two great flipper bots on this show, and definitely we got that in this one. So we are going to see Iron On 7, who's going to take on Toxic 2 in this season's final to determine who is going to be the one to hoist that trophy. So, great stuff right there, and we're going to move on. So basically, we're going to see a third place match between Neutron and Apollo before the final. But before we get to that stuff, because we want to give all four of these robots a chance to repair their robots, it wouldn't be a grand final without Last Rites. Even though we did see Last Rites earlier, it wouldn't be the same without seeing Last Rites close to the end of the episode. So that's what we're going to get here. We're going to see one of the biggest rivalries in War Machines history. We're going to see another rematch between Behemoth and Last Rites. So Behemoth had a very early exit in their semifinal that ended up resulting in them being eliminated from the main comp, but they're going to have a chance to redeem themselves after all. So Behemoth and Last Rites fought twice last season, and fought one other time in one of the other Robot Arena 2 competitions on this channel, and Behemoth is going to get a chance to take on Last Rites and manage to settle the score with Last Rites here. Especially after the second decision, especially after their second showdown, people did find that fight to be controversial. Some people thought Behemoth should have been the one to come out on top in that one. So, but regardless though, we got an entertaining showdown, a showdown for the ages coming here tonight. I'd say let's go ahead and get to this matchup. I'll get to this fun little exhibition match before we get to the final two fights for this main competition. Let's go ahead and get right to this matchup. Let this exhibition match begin here. Charging right in there is Behemoth, looking to box rush Last Rites as they usually do. Couple more nice hits that sends Behemoth flying right there. There are a couple beautiful shots, but minimal use from that flipper so far from Behemoth. There we go. We have to see the trigger of the flipper right there. We got underneath Last Rites from the sides right there, and now knocking Last Rites off balance. Great start from Behemoth right there, who is knocking Last Rites off balance once again here. But right now, but gotta be careful though of that horizontal spinner though, because this is kind of what the start of the match, both their other all their other showdowns looked like right there. And now Last Rites, they pinned up against the rails, but uses that horizontal spinner to get free from Behemoth's wrath right there. So a misflip right there from Behemoth, and off comes the scoop once again. This is exactly what happened in all their other showdowns right there. Last Rites has got to be careful. Right here. Or no, Behemoth has got to be careful, I'm sorry. But continue to knock off. Last Rites continue to get knocked off balance. Now landing shot after shot, going to try to cause as much damage as they possibly can and to Behemoth while they're weaponless for the remainder of this match. Nice hit from Last Rites once again, and a huge hit that sends Last Rites off balance, basically. And now coming back in for more is Behemoth trying to break that weapon once again and taking some huge impacts. Incredible stuff that we are seeing here. And now Last Rites in the corner right now. Behemoth tried to use their broken weapon as a grappling system, basically, and wasn't quite successful with that, but still, incredible fight that we are seeing so far. 1 minute left to go in this exhibition match. Nice flip, getting caught on, and now Last Rites. We got the floor flipper triggering time and time again here. The flipper's triggering. I think they broke the floor flipper. We're going to charge you both robots for that. This channel is not being monetized, so I don't think we can afford the repairing the floor flipper right there. So these two robots are going to pay it off for us. So less than a minute to go in this brawl of a showdown here, and like, holy crap, this has been one entertaining bout between these two robots. A little over 30 seconds left to go here in this matchup, so yeah, continue to charge in and seeing more hit after hit being landed by last rights here. Behemoth definitely doing a great job of staying aggressive and trying to control as much of this match as possible right now in these last 20 seconds of this match right now. Both robots encountering the broken floor flipper right there after those two robots. Maybe I could get those two robots to pay for my college tuition as well. So, after the last rights just took a big licking from a floor flipper right there. And all that stuff. As the clock hits 0, so this exhibition match is going to the judges here. So yeah, another phenomenal showdown between those two robots, back and forth once again. Now you see why this one is one of the biggest rivalries in War Machines history. So you get the idea. So yeah, so definitely last rights. Removing the scoop right there was a big factor in this one, but never count out the fact that Behemoth was on control board damage for a big chunk of that match, so definitely going to be something to keep an eye on. Damage has definitely been a big factor in this one, and last rights definitely was dominant in that, but control and aggression probably favored Behemoth in this one, who definitely was relentless, was not afraid to continue to go head on with that horizontal spinner of last rights, and this one was these matchups will always be a matchup for the ages. Let's find out who won and what the judges had to say. Yeah, so the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Last Rights. Yeah, so great showdown between those two. Great way for Last Rights to end the season with a big victory like that. Can't wait to see what both these robots do going forward when they return for another season. So yeah, great showdown once again, and let's go to the third place match, which features the 7 and the 8 seed, Apollo and Neutron. Yeah, so this one's going to be another control battle, I feel, between these two robots. Neutron's definitely going to be trying to take on Apollo with that vertical spinner, knock it off balance as much as they possibly can, while Apollo's going to be trying to control the fight and even toss Neutron out of the arena if they can with that flipper right there. So yeah, probably not much more to talk about, I'd say. Let's find out who's going to claim that podium spot between these two robots and get on to this matchup, because this one ought to be a good one. For this matchup to begin here, and a huge lift up right there from Neutron went over the top of Apollo, and now charging right in there is Neutron, who's getting hit after hit on the sides and the underside of Apollo once again. And Neutron is staying on Apollo as much as they possibly can here, knocking Apollo off balance time and time again here. 30 seconds into this fight, I'd say Neutron is easily on top in this one, and I'm not sure what those sparks are. They're just floating in midair like that. Pretty cool though. Pretty interesting light show though that we saw right over there near the pit button. I'm not sure if we'll see those again or something, but pretty cool. Regardless, now they're over in the flame pit, but not sure what's going on. But it's pretty fun light show though. We always love to see stuff like that. There we go. Now Apollo gets their first flip into this match after taking those huge hits from Neutron, but now Neutron looking to continue to rebound, using some of those amazing driving tactics to evade the flipper right there, and they're doing that right here in this match. They want that podium spot after Toxic 2 prevented them from being able to win the title this year. So, pretty back and forth control battle. Nice flip from Apollo right there. They're giving Neutron some airtime right there. Apollo needs to get Neutron out of the arena or something, probably, or just get on them once again with that flipper, but Neutron's just not allowing that. They're just too fast for Apollo right here. Neutron, and a huge shot from the floor flipper on Apollo right there after Neutron just went right to the underside of it. Were they trying to break the floor flipper after Behemoth Last Rights did do it? Luckily, we were able to find funding to be able to get that thing fixed, so yeah, charging right in there is Neutron once again here, and continuing to charge in there once again is Neutron, just continue to knock Apollo off balance. It's right now, and yeah, charging in there once again, laying some more huge hits after all. And now has Apollo in the corner once again, and now trying to charge and getting a few more jabs with that vertical spinner. Not a lot of damage caused, but Neutron's doing a great job controlling this match. So here we go. Apollo needs to get off the flame pits right there. Never thought I'd say that. So, yeah, so Neutron continue to charge in there. Apollo running away basically while Neutron just continue to stay on them as much as they possibly can. Nice flip from Apollo once again right there. A pretty nice control moment here. Less than 30 seconds to go in this fight, and Neutron on the Apollo once again here. Continuing to knock Apollo off balance and landing hit after hit with that vertical spinner. 10 seconds left to go in this match. It is definitely looking like this match is going to be going to the judges right here. What an entertainment 3-minute showdown. Apollo trying to bait Neutron to the flip into the pit. It sure didn't work though. And this fight is in the hands of the judges. Yeah, so basically this one ended up being a huge driving war between those two robots in order to determine who could control the fight, because both these robots are pretty tanky. I was definitely not expecting there to be damage in this one, and that is exactly what occurred in this one. So yeah, I would definitely say Neutron definitely dominated a huge majority of this match with that vertical spinner and using their speed and maneuverability advantages in this one. But I'm not going to count out Apollo though, who was letting flip after flip time and time again. And right there, well, not exactly time and time again, but they managed to land a bunch of big flips of their own, basically showing that they probably had the biggest control moments of this match though. So I would definitely give Apollo the edge in that, but wasn't enough though. So let's find out if the judges agree or disagree. So let's find out. The judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Neutron. So now that we know, Neutron will be awarded the Covenant 3rd place for this season of War Machines 3.1, but we got one last fight left to determine. It is going to determine who is going to get that #1 spot right there. Who is going to get the championship? Will it be Iron All 7 or will it be Toxic 2? Yeah, so this one, another flipper battle. Yeah, this mod is... I was definitely expecting to see at least one flipper in the final right there, since this mod does have a lot of really powerful flippers here in the Robot Wars RA2 mod, and we got a good one here for you. 2 more of the most powerful flippers in this mod, which is about to clash it out here for the War Machines Season 3.1 title, and definitely this one could go either way. Yeah, so Toxic 2. Their rookie season this year, with huge history in other Robot Arena 2 competitions featuring this mod, most notably the Bucket Tournament by the Dominus Cygnus right there, where Toxic 2 managed to win that one. But Toxic 2 has had a lot of success in other competitions too, so Toxic 2 has a huge history. Iron All 7 done very well in competitions like the Bucket Tournament too, so in other competitions, including they made the top 8 last season in the War Machines Season 2, so yeah, so both these robots definitely have the resume to win this whole thing here, but they gotta fight it out in the arena first. And I'd say, let's go ahead and find out who's gonna win this flipper battle, because like, I don't think I really need to talk about the strategy, because I think you all know what it's gonna be. Time for this matchup to begin. Time for the final to begin here. Toxic 2 landing the first flip right there, but Iron All 7 landing a huge flip right there, and another huge flip by Iron All 7 right there. Toxic 2 being forced to self-right and almost flip themselves out of the arena right there. Iron All 7 with a huge flip right there. They're continuing to knock Toxic 2 out of the arena. Nice flip for Toxic 2, who now has a Iron All 7 in the corner, who is on control board damage. I wonder if they weren't able to get the robot fully repaired after that Apollo fight, because they are in serious trouble control board wise. Coming in as Iron All 7, huge flip, almost gets Toxic 2 out of the arena. Toxic 2 needs to self-right and rebound right here. Huge flip from Iron All 7 once again, who's just hanging in there right now. Back and forth action to start this final off here. A bunch of huge flips from both robots. Toxic 2 is now smoking, but Iron All 7 is still barely hanging in there with that control board. Lots is happening in this match. What a final we are seeing to start this one. And so, yeah, Iron 07 continued to stay on to Toxic 2 here. Huge flip, and out of the arena goes Toxic 2. That is going to be end of this. You now have the War Machines Season 3.1 champion, which is going to be awarded to Iron 7. Incredible stuff right there. We saw some back and forth action very early on between Toxic 2 and Iron 7. Both robots laying some huge flips, including a couple that left Iron 7 in a state where they were vulnerable to being control board KO'd right there. But then Iron 7 did not let that stop them right there. They managed to get underneath Toxic 2, capitalized very well from the fact that they were flipping Toxic 2 over time and time again, and then eventually managed to flip him out of the arena, which is the best way to confirm a victory in a fight like this. So Toxic 2 sadly will take the runner-up position, but it's still a great job from them. Like, this is their first season in this Robot Arena 2 competition, and the fact that they got second place is still huge. So Toxic 2 will definitely be looking to go that one step further next season, but you now have the War Machine Season 3.1 champion, which is now Iron 7. Huge congrats to them for winning this fight and taking home the War Machine Season 3.1 title. So now, a couple things to announce left. So basically, the first thing is awards. Don't forget to get those in. By the time the next episode releases will be when votes are cut off, basically, because I plan to announce the results by then. So definitely get your ideas in for who you think should be the ones to take all of these awards. So yeah, get those in as soon as possible, and you get the idea. So yeah, and so then we will have a couple more episodes left of this, because we'll have Tag Team Terror, which will be happening in the next episode here. Basically, 8 tag teams will be competing bracket style to take home that exhibition title, and then we'll have another episode of bonus fights before we get to War Machine Season 3.2, which I will announce right now will feature the new Roboto mod from BattleBots. I was originally going to do a Robot Rumble 2 tournament with the BattleBots, but I will plan on doing that later on. Yeah, so that'll do it for this episode. Huge congrats to Iron 7 for winning this War Machine Season 3.1 title. Big shout out to everybody who either helped out with this tournament or supported us. Yeah, all our supporters. Anybody who helped out with the tournament, you can find the links to their channels in the description. Huge shout out to them for all their help for making this season possible, and huge shout out to everybody else who helped make this season possible. So it's definitely the big support that you all give here on this channel that definitely makes this season possible. It makes us all a success. So once again, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button as usual, and I will hopefully see you for the next episode.